Welcome back to the Metaverse, listeners. You've stumbled across part 2 of our 3-part look into Horizon Worlds, Mark Zuckerberg's virtual reality utopia where everyone is capable of super empathy on account of these space-age goggles they're wearing. If our last episode was technology blows into the metaverse, then this is technology blows across the metaverse, and I'm your host, Dan Slimman. Joining me today, again, is none other than up-and-coming LA-based comedian Anderson Gronvold, my nephew. Go ahead, Anderson. Say hello.
Hey, I'm honored to be back for part two. Part one was, I got to be honest, a little horrifying, but I can't let you keep going deeper into the metaverse alone.
Yeah, there was some bad stuff in that episode, and I'm not gonna lie, Anderson, there's some bad stuff in this episode. There's some good stuff, but there's it's a real mixed bag.
I'm more prepared this time. Last time I was finding out about like modern horrors live during recording, so I should be more composed this time.
I should probably send people like a form to sign off that they're willing to hear about how horrifying the modern world is before they get on the podcast.
Yeah, true. It's kind of baked into the name, Technology Blows, though.
Right. It's not technology is very comforting.
Right.
That's a different podcast.
Different podcast. And fuck those guys. Hate them.
Yeah. All right. Ready to get back into it, Anderson?
Let's do it.
So by 2021, Facebook has around 10,000 employees working at Reality Labs, which is what used to be Oculus and is now Facebook's VR/AR wing. As a refresher, VR, I think everybody knows, is virtual reality. AR is augmented reality, so it's with the special Facebook glasses that make like holograms appear in your world, like a penguin who's jacking it. And the Facebook headset, the Oculus Quest 2, is the leading head-mounted display on the market by an enormous margin. The Oculus Quest accounts for 78% of VR headset shipments in 2021. 78%. And that's partly because it's really good. They're pretty far ahead of the pack technology-wise. They've got a big head start from electronics wonderkind and Hawaiian shirt-wearing America First dipshit Palmer Luckey, who got them a pretty good product in the first place. and also, like, they've just poured billions and billions of dollars into R&D since acquiring Oculus in 2014, and nobody else has poured that much money into building a good VR headset, so they came up with a pretty good one. That's not the only reason they have a 78% market share, though. The other reason is that they're selling these things for super cheap. It's $300 for one of these babies. By comparison, the next most popular consumer-grade VR headset, the Valve Index, goes for $500. And the reason the Oculus Quest is so cheap, of course, is that Facebook is betting big on controlling the platform. They want to become the only place to buy VR avatars, sell VR ads, process VR payments, all this stuff they want to come through Facebook so that they don't have to keep paying Google 30% of their revenue for Google's, mobile platform, etc. Yeah, so they're thinking, well, we can lose money on the headsets because we're going to be the only VR platform. And again, in a collective delusion that almost makes you wonder if the CIA is somehow like secretly dosing everyone on the Facebook executive floor with LSD through the air vents, that everybody in Facebook thinks that VR is going to be the next mobile. Like, that's how everyone's going to be using the internet by 2025. So of course they can afford to sell the headsets for whatever, because their earnings from being the only VR platform is going to like dwarf at whatever they lose on that. It's crazy. Their headset is coupled to their like VR software platform, but they can't just, according to their strategy, right? They can't just build the platform. That 2015 memo, again, from Mark Zuckerberg is illuminating here, where he lays out his reasoning for going all in on VR. He says, if we only build key apps, but not the platform, we will remain in our current position. If we only build the platform, but not the key apps, we may be in a worse position. We need to build both. So they need both the hardware and the platform that lets people use the hardware easily, and interact with the metaverse, and they also need to own like a significant portion of like the apps that people are spending time in VR is their
Tell me
strategy.
if tell me if I'm wrong, but that's not profound at all, right? That's like a
No,
duh.
it's
Okay.
like it's thank you for saying that because like I read this and I was like I, I don't I'm not going to say Mark Zuckerberg is a is an average dumbass, but he keeps making decisions and making statements that an average dumbass would make.
When I heard it, I was like, surely there's another layer to this. And then as you were finishing talking about it, I was like, no. He's basically like,
No.
we have to have the metaverse platform, and then it also has to be enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you see why this guy's leading the whole thing.
Right. You see, if we could make money from having one thing, imagine how much money we could have by making three things. Think about that.
Guys, if people want to buy this, we are set.
So let's check them out. Let's talk about these. Let's talk about these key VR apps that Facebook so desperately needs to succeed with. By 2021, there are a couple main VR apps that they've got. One is called one is called Horizon Workrooms, which launches in August of 2021, and this is like a virtual office software that lets you sit in a virtual office at a virtual desk and watch your virtual coworkers draw on a virtual whiteboard while you physically die. Uh,
That was one of the first things they were like, well, obviously people are going to want to be in office
yeah,
virtually.
yeah. What do people love? What do people wish they could do that they can't do? Oh, it's COVID, so what can we get? What experience do people love that we can give them in virtual reality? I know.
Yeah. We now have a platform that can generate anything imaginable. Let's put them in the office.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, and
crazy.
that's gonna be a theme, and it's crazy. These people have no idea what people enjoy. So, asked in 2022 to give an example of what makes the Quest so useful, Meta's vice president of Metaverse, Vishal Shah, told a story about how his team all got together in workrooms and told stories about their recent vacations. And the interviewer was like, "Oh, this is going to be cool. People are going to have like 3D videos that they took of their vacations that they can like all jump into in the metaverse to have this conversation. This could actually be kind of cool." So he says, if you've been on a big Zoom call with, a bunch of faces, this is awkward. But we were all in a workroom. I told my story. I looked to my left. The next person went. And then there were head nods and acknowledgement. And then we just went around the room. Right?
Oh
Whoa.
my God. Crazy.
We did it. Yeah, I guess his point is that like you don't have to do the thing in Zoom where you're like looking at where somebody looks at the attendee list and goes in order and like calls their names in order. You don't have to do that. You can just like look over to your left and somebody else can tell a story. But like that's what they've got. That's the best. That's 2022.
That's what they're leading with.
Right. What makes it so useful? Well,
You're going to want to sit down for this one.
yeah. Yeah. Are you sitting in real life? I can see your avatar sitting, but that doesn't mean you're sitting. Yeah. That's what they're into. This is what happens when you get a company like Facebook where people have become successful by working nonstop and doing whatever Mark Zuckerberg wants to do. And so that's all they can think of to do in their life, I think. Like,
Yeah, I don't think they have any reference. They have no reference of the outside.
right. They've been in building 44 since they were born. He's
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
breeding executives there.
The nice little nutrient broth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, so that's Horizon Workrooms, which sounds like something that would be like discovered in a previously abandoned house in New Mexico, and like they pull 200, uh, you know, human trafficking survivors out of the Horizon workrooms.
I bet this was originally in the script for Severance, and then they're like, ah, shit,
Yeah.
it's a real thing now. We have to rewrite this.
Yeah. Zuckerberg. The other key app by 2021 is Horizon Venues, which launched way back in 2018 as a VR concert venue. And Horizon Venues has a couple of different kinds of events. Sometimes it's a virtual concert, sort of where the performers are on a virtual stage. So in that kind of concert, the stage can be like whatever you want. It can be a cavern of flame that they're performing in. It could be a futuristic spaceship, cyberpunk cityscape, and the
An
performer is
office,
like it could be a
a
gray office
workroom.
with a whiteboard. David Byrne would do that one, I think. That I just side note, one of the most like affecting parts of a musical performance that I saw was when I saw David Byrne last year, and they were performing in front of he and like 12 other people are like dancing around performing on the stage, and the background is this like gray office park office with just like it's that for the whole performance, and then like 15 seconds before the end of the song it switches to like a field of golden wheat. It's just like two static photos, but after staring at the gray office for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, you see the wheat, and everybody in the audience was like, holy shit, this is incredible.
Wow, that is very dystopian.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It was good stuff. So yeah, you get the performer on the stage, and your point of view in this kind of concert is basically you're on stage with the band, and there's like a camera set up on stage with the band, and you are the camera. The performer will sing directly at you.
Just what everyone wants.
It seems like the worst possible way to. I can't imagine a worse way to watch a whole concert. Like it's like at every concert you've been brought up on stage to be serenaded by the singer,
With no audience.
with no one else in the audience, just you and the band. Yeah, I'm gonna show you a bit of a Sabrina Carpenter concert from 2024.
Oh, I can't wait.
Oh, she's coming toward us. That part's really fun because there's no audience. So I don't know who's doing the screaming. They must have added the sound of an audience screaming in post to that part.
Yeah, I'd love to know who collected that audio. They probably
Yeah.
just went down to the Horizon workrooms and recorded whatever they do on a normal Tuesday. They're like, thanks, we got our scream audio.
Yeah. Yeah. No, Vishal Shah, not again.
So basically, like, they're on the set, like Sabrina Carpenter and those people are on a physical set, and then there's just a portal that allows people to tune in with VR.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think I could watch about 30 seconds of it before being forced all the way offline by visceral shame. So that's one kind of Horizon Venues concert. The other kind is where there's an actual physical concert happening somewhere in the real world. And Facebook has set up like an omnidirectional video camera to stream that event from a certain seat in the audience. So you're watching a real event, Foo Fighters concert, for example, is one that they did. And you can look around and see everything that's going on. You can see the rest of the audience, but you're not really there. You're just a camera. They did this for some UFC fights where you're like down next to the octagon and you can see that you're right in the action, which is probably cool if you're into UFC, which Mark Zuckerberg definitely is now. But I feel like the UFC experience just isn't the same without the smell of 1,000 sweaty men.
I agree.
And like we said last time, they haven't figured out how to pipe that sweaty man smell into your nostrils yet. But
Not yet.
don't bet against Zuck. He'll get it.
Someone's on it though.
Yep. Yep. Somebody, yeah, probably a whole community of modders who are on it. Yeah, anyway, according to a screenshot from May of 2022, 55% of the Oculus Store reviews for Horizon venues were one-star reviews. A lot of these reviews are complaining about the space, like the lobby of the venue, just being full of children running around and screaming. And a lot of them also describe sexual assault and harassment. So it's not good.
Never takes long to get there.
No. So, like, probably the single worst possible way to see a concert. But there are people using it who like it and who think I think it's probably like largely people who are desperate. It's 2020, 2021, people who are desperate for any kind of communal experience in the depths of the COVID-19 pandemic. Right. Just give me anything where I feel like I'm around other people.
Sure.
Right. Which seems like it was maybe a golden opportunity for the metaverse to take off, but I think they missed it.
I mean, yeah, if there was ever a time to launch, that
Right.
would be the window.
Exactly. Yeah, they got so lucky and they fucking fumbled the bag by building this horrible software that sucks. And you know who else was desperate around 2021? Mark fucking Zuckerberg. Because Facebook is absolutely drowning in intractable problems in 2021. Their platform is spreading COVID-19 vaccine misinformation like it's COVID-19. And Facebook leadership wants to stop the COVID misinformation. They really do. But it just keeps getting worse because they don't actually have the balls to censor people. So they're like, well, what if we promote certain posts to make that we know or have like government certified information about COVID-19 vaccines, but they still have the comments on, and the comments get like filled with people being like, vaccines are killing your pets, and they actually end up amplifying those comments more than if they had just not posted the promoted content in the first place.
Right. It's like troll bait.
Yeah. So that's a big problem that they can't solve. In April of 2021, somebody drops a data leak on a hacking forum with the personal data of over 500 million Facebook users. We're talking full names, phone numbers, locations, birth dates, email addresses for 500 million people.
Yikes. I might have been in that. I didn't even check.
You probably were, yeah. I think I had left Facebook like 3 months before the data got stolen, so I'm not in it. But I'm in. This is a fun part of the modern world is that every few months you find out that some company you've never even heard of had your social security number and they accidentally lost it. They don't know where it is now.
Yeah, it's like which mega corporation is doxing you?
Right. But anyway, this Facebook one was really bad. And then in September of 2021, the Wall Street Journal starts publishing this blistering series of articles called the Facebook Files. And they're just like airing all of Facebook's dirty laundry, which they can do thanks to the work of whistleblower Frances Haugen. They write about how Facebook has failed to curtail human trafficking on their platform. They write about how Facebook drives teenagers into eating disorders and radicalization and suicide, and they refuse to fix that problem. They break that COVID misinformation story. And perhaps most importantly, in all this reporting, it's clear that Facebook knows about all these problems. They know how bad these problems are and that they're getting worse, and they either can't or won't do anything to fix them. And it's a real pain in Mark's ass that people keep writing about this.
Yeah, the guy's trying to build the metaverse.
Yeah, don't you understand?
This world doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, maybe those teens wouldn't have. Never mind. So. And so anyway, we come to so it's a bad year for Mark Zuckerberg. His head hurts, his neck hurts, his ass is killing him. He starts to think to himself, wouldn't it be nice to not be CEO of Facebook anymore? If I could just not be CEO of Facebook. And I understand it. So that's how we come to October 28th, 2021. The day Mark Zuckerberg gets exactly what he wants, to no longer be CEO of Facebook. This is the day of the most delusional tech company keynote I have ever seen. And And Anderson, I've seen some doozies.
That's saying something.
So, okay, so it starts with Mark Zuckerberg getting a call from a friend who wants to hang out with him, which already feels kind of false. Like you're stretching
totally.
you're stretching my belief here.
You can already see the fingerprints of the PR company all over this.
And so he selects his metaverse. He's like, his friend wants to hang out in the metaverse. So he selects his metaverse avatar and he scrolls through a few choices on this. Like he's got a life-size hologram of himself in his living room that he's using to choose his outfit. And he like flicks his wrist and it's wearing different outfits.
You know, some other people's skin, just
right.
Different things he's always wanted to wear.
Just things he likes to wear. Yeah, I kept thinking when I saw him flicking through it, I kept thinking he was gonna like accidentally flick one outfit too far and it's wearing like bunny ears and a leather harness, and he's like, oh, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, the next day somebody's fired, like publicly.
Yeah. There's no way Mark Zuckerberg doesn't fuck this hologram, right? I mean, I'm like, I don't believe you can be a billionaire with a life-size hologram of yourself in your living room and not be fucking that hologram.
I'm not even saying I'm better than him, and I wouldn't, but I don't have $1 billion or a hologram of myself in my living room.
Right. If Mark Zuckerberg, if you're listening, if you want to buy me a hologram of myself to put in my living room, I'll fuck that hologram.
I'll show you I'm no better. Man's got to eat.
Yeah, that's right. So he picks his outfit. He picks the one with the same nondescript dark sweater and pants that he's wearing in real life.
Good choice, Mark.
Great choice. Nobody will make fun of you now.
Way to show the potential of the metaverse.
Yeah. Can you imagine a world where you could be wearing the clothes you're wearing now?
Yeah, exactly.
So the camera, as soon as he picks his outfit, he says, all right. And the camera sort of swings through the room and jacks into the back of the avatar's head. And we're in the metaverse. And the first thing you notice as Mark walks into the like shiny white spaceship cabin where he's meeting all his friends to play cards is all of Mark's best friends are people who work for him, which honestly tracks. You got Andrew Bosworth, who's now the CTO of Facebook, is there. He's a huge bright red robot. And there's a bunch of other Facebook executives there around the table, and they're all playing cards. The cards are floating in midair. And I slowed it down to like quarter speed to try to figure out what card game they're playing, but it's nonsense. It's a cool card animation. They're not actually playing a card game.
Nice.
So immediately, the first thing they decided to tell me about the metaverse in this keynote is that it's the worst possible place in fucking creation. It's like, okay, cool. So if I go to the metaverse, then I get to, hang out sober in a space hotel with the C-suite of Facebook? Here's just one of the uncountable dumb things that happen in this keynote. This is Boz, the red robot from before, talking to Mark Zuckerberg about augmented reality.
I'd gladly nerd out with you on the technical details of this with you.
I know.
But I think it's better to show you. Load the world beyond. This is Oppie. Oppie, come on, Oppie. Who's a good persistent state virtual object layered on an interactive pass-through environment? Oh, you are. Yes, you are. Oppie, sit. Pets in the metaverse, man. Just as stubborn as they are in the physical world.
You know, Boz, I always really wanted a forest in my living room.
Did you?
Not really.
It's worse than I imagined.
It's incredible. How would you, hold on, let me load the world beyond. Here, I'm gonna load a picture of Oppie for a second. Describe Oppie for the listeners.
Oppie looks like a virtual rabbit with giant fuzzy ears and big eyes, and look like he better do what he's told or else.
Yeah, Boz does not love this thing.
No. I want to speak to Oppie alone for a second without Boz in the room. I got a few questions.
I would describe Oppie as Bisquick faced would be my main descriptor
Yeah.
for
Right. Yeah.
Oppie. Yeah, looks like a kind of a rat wearing like a very slutty amount of eyeshadow.
And lipstick too.
Yes.
That looks like it's been smeared a
Yeah.
little.
I don't whoever designed this has some skeletons in their closet, I'll tell you that. The forest in my living room bit, like who thought that was they wrote that. That was a joke written for them.
That made it through multiple rounds of approval.
Yeah, right. No, it can't be anything funny. Here's another of the dumb things that occurs in this video. I mean, there's just so many. I could just show you the whole video, but we don't have time. You should, anybody at home who is interested in seeing like a masterclass in techno solutionist hogwash, go watch this video. It's called The Metaverse and How We'll Build It Together, Connect 2021. But here, Anderson, I'm going to show you another clip from this. This is Michael Abrash, the leader of Facebook's research team, and he's showing us one of the things that they're working on in their augmented reality program.
Dear.
Remember the mock apartment we saw earlier? Well, we've indexed every single object in it, including not only location, but also the texture, geometry, and function of each one. We fed all that information into the Project Aria glasses Ming-Fei is wearing in this next demo. And the reason is to simulate how AR glasses will ultimately be able to access data from a 3D map. What's happening here is that the glasses are calculating where Ming-Fei is in the room, locating and identifying all the nearby objects based on the index mentioned earlier, and figuring out which of those objects Ming-Fei is interested in by observing her eye movements.
She's walking through this apartment and she's got these augmented reality glasses on, and everything she looks at in the apartment, like a wireframe cube, appears and lights up around it as she looks at it.
That contextual information, in turn, enables the system to offer proactive assistance to Ming-Fei in a variety of ways. Here, the system knows that she may want to turn on the TV, so when she clicks while looking at it, the system turns it on. Ultimately, her AR glasses will tell her what her available actions are at any time.
So there's something else. There's another experience you could have in the future, thanks to Meta's incredible AR technology.
Yeah, like instead of turning on deciding whether you want to turn on your lamp, you can have a robot guess if you want it on or off and be wrong sometimes.
And it's going to know all your options for activities at any time in your own apartment, and it'll tell you what you're able to do.
I'd love if you were like looking at like a picture frame and it's giving you your options, and one of them is like shove up ass ? It's like, what? No.
Some contextual information.
Yeah.
There's a part in Cyberpunk 2077 where you have the option to look at yourself in the mirror after doing a bunch of drugs, and you have the option to it's like press B to punch mirror. It's going to be like that in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
I also love that they have built this like mock apartment for research in the basement of one of the Facebook campus buildings. Like, Boz sleeps in this apartment sometimes.
Oh yeah. No, that apartment is in use.
Yeah, for some bad stuff.
I mean, that's probably where he takes Oppie after work.
Load the world beyond.
Load the world beyond.
It's bad. I mean, this is a conceptual far future sci-fi universe they've invented, and they could show us any potential future experience that this product might give us. Right. And this is what they've come up with.
You're right. I mean, that really is the theme. It's like,
yeah,
the whole premise is what you could do with imagination, and then it's just the most mundane, like rote experiences.
Right. We don't have, you supply the imagination. Obviously,
right.
We're not here to supply you with fun imaginary scenarios.
Right. You have to upgrade. Yeah, that's a separate upgrade.
Yeah, right. Right. I mean, that is kind of what the vision is, because they're also in Horizon Worlds, you can build worlds. We'll get to it, but you can build like worlds for people to come to and visit, and they want a creator economy, right? They want people to be able to make money building content for Horizon Worlds so that they don't have to build it themselves. But the bombshell announcement at this keynote address was this, that Facebook would no longer be Facebook. The company was changing its name to align with its new animating mission of dominating the metaverse, and it was going to be called Meta. And it was as if Mark Zuckerberg was saying, you know, we're not the company that let Cambridge Analytica steal personal data on millions of users and use it to target conservative political ads. We're not the company that tried so ineptly to fight anti-vaxxer misinformation on our platform that we accidentally made it worse. We're not the company that, according to a UN fact-finding mission, played a determining role in the Rohingya genocide in Myanmar. Those are all things Facebook did, right? We're Meta. Meta's building the cool VR future where you can play gin rummy with Facebook's head of HR or frolic with Oppie in the world beyond.
Yeah, grab a virtual pina colada, calm down.
Yeah. Do not pass out drunk in the metaverse.
Yeah. I mean, if you accept the user agreement, you sign your rights away if that happens.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so Facebook is now Meta, and Meta's first VR product, their first major VR product that they release as Meta, is called Horizon Worlds, which is their vision for how social life is going to be in the VR era. So let's talk about what Horizon Worlds is actually like. What is this virtual utopia that's going to replace the real world for so many people? That people are going to love so much that they'll go there to watch TV and talk on their phone instead of doing those things in reality. So when you first arrive in Horizon Worlds, you enter the plaza, which is like this little floating island with a few activities you can do. You know, you can meet up with your friends there. You can make paper airplanes. You can play like a rainbow colored keyboard that's built into the floor and play songs on it. There's a tree house. It's pretty fun looking, but it's got like very much like a Disney World atmosphere, like much of Horizon Worlds. It's always daytime. It's very clean. There's nothing seedy looking about it at all. There's nothing, potentially dangerous going on. Even though this is like nominally an 18 and over game, right? Like, it's not clear to me whether they designed it this way because they're trying to entice children into their adults only app, or because they're trying to attract the kind of grown-ups who bought a VR helmet so they can make paper airplanes and dance on a rainbow keyboard and hang out in a treehouse. And I'm not sure which is worse.
And they probably get both.
And they definitely get both, which let me think about how that's going to work out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get the creepiest adults and children together.
Yeah, and have them both spend way more time on the platform than any other kind of user because they're obsessed with it.
Exactly.
Also, let's not moderate anything.
There's no moderation.
Yeah, so you see what's coming for Meta down the road here. So so the plaza is populated by some number of Meta employees called guides. These are real people wearing VR headsets in a room somewhere, because everyone you meet in Horizon Worlds is another human. There are no NPCs, non-player characters. Oppie is not in Horizon Worlds. Oppie's in a different game. Every character you meet is a person. And this is new because no other VR app before has tried this particular thing, to have live employee guides in the game to meet and greet new players. And these guides will chat you up. They'll point to different activities you might be interested in. You might want to check out some upcoming concerts at the Horizon Venues booth. You might want to play a game like Population 1, which is a popular battle royale game on their platform, kind of a Fortnite clone. You might want to check out the Soapstone Comedy Club and watch a stand-up show. And once you're ready, you can teleport off to whatever world you want to visit with your friends. So Horizon Worlds is like a mixture of games and social spaces, which includes the ability to create your own worlds. Because like most of the places you can go are worlds created by users, which are it's like a little VR sandbox game that somebody built with the tools that are built into Horizon Worlds. So in the metaverse, you can create entire worlds. You can shape reality itself. You can literally do anything, except one very important thing that most people spend their entire life doing: having legs. Because everyone in Horizon Worlds at this stage, at least, is a floating torso. That's the curse of existing in Horizon Worlds. In sort of a reverse Little Mermaid's devil's bargain, you can have everything you've ever wanted, but Mark Zuckerberg gets to keep your legs.
And he had them rendered. He just didn't let you have them.
Yeah, no, he's got them. He's got you. They're his.
He had them. They're just in they're in a warehouse, a virtual warehouse somewhere.
The sub basement of his top secret underground bunker house in Hawaii is just filled with rows and rows of magical clamshells where he keeps the severed legs of all Horizon Worlds users. That's why it was so expensive to build, and then why they had to have everybody under all those NDAs.
Right. Most of the seed money.
So we'll talk later about why you can't have legs in Horizon Worlds, but I just wanted to mention it now so that you can just imagine everybody I talk about existing in this world as being like a floating torso. They kind of look like an eggplant that's been painted for an HR demonstration. Everybody's just like a floating eggplant puppet. But right now, we don't get to talk about legs right now, because right now we got to talk about something much less fun than legs. Because even before Horizon Worlds gets out of beta, it has already become a petri dish for sexual harassment and sexual assault. In November of 2021, a Horizon Worlds beta tester reports in a post on an internal beta tester forum that she's been sexually assaulted by a stranger in the game. And I'm going to quote from her post now. "Not only was I groped last night, but there were other people who supported this behavior, which made me feel isolated in the plaza. I think what made it worse was even after I reported and eventually blocked the assaulter, the guide in the plaza did and said nothing. He moved far across the map as if to say, 'You're on your own.'" Then, anticipating a skeptical reaction, the beta tester goes on to say, "Even though my physical body was far removed from the event, my brain is tricked into thinking it's real. We can't tout VR's realness and then lay claim that it is not a real assault. Mind you, this all happened within 1 minute of arriving on the plaza. I hadn't spoken a word yet and could possibly have been a 12-year-old girl."
Wow.
So that's bad.
That's bad. And just the extra indignity of having to use like the meta terms like plaza and guide.
Yeah, awful. Yeah, and to feel that you have to explain that this is because it's the gaming world. The first time you explain this, the thread is going to be full of guys being like, "Oh, that wasn't a real sexual assault. Like, it's just a game. Get over yourself," right? And she spoke up anyway because she had to.
Her point is apt, where it's like, how can we be selective about considering this a realistic platform?
Right. You can't have it both ways. This guide she mentions, who saw what was happening and then moved away to ignore it, was a Meta employee. And later in her post, the beta tester pleads, "If Meta won't give guides tools to allow them to remove a player immediately from a situation, at least train them to deal with it and not run away. If Meta won't give guides tools that will allow them to remove a player immediately from the situation, at least train them to deal with it and not run away." Right, they're basically asking for the guides to have that special gun from Lambda Mu that they used to defeat Mr. Bungle, right? That zaps somebody away to an alternate dimension.
Which, I mean, I don't know what you think, but to me seems like it would be like an obvious tool to give the guides, right?
Yes. You would
Otherwise,
think.
it's like, I mean, all they can do is watch.
Yeah, right. Which is potentially worse for Facebook because they're like training. They have their employees that they're training to just like observe sexual assaults and do nothing.
Right.
So I don't know why they've been so consistent about this, but from the earliest stages, Facebook has been very clear that guides are not enforcers of rules. They are there to model appropriate behavior. They invite users to try things, but they're not empowered to actually do anything or stop anything from happening. They're not moderators. And it's very strange. I guess they've given up from the very beginning on the idea that like Facebook employees are going to be as soon as you start taking responsibility for making sure bad things don't happen to people on the platform, now you're in it, right? Now people are going to expect you to, right? You have liability, and if you now fail to do that, which you will, now you're on the hook. So they're saying like, yeah, we're not involved. Everybody can use the platform how they want to.
Well, good. That's smart business. I'm glad that that's how society works. That's great.
Yep.
It's way more profitable just to let the sexual assaults happen.
Yeah, people will pay for that. Yeah, I don't know what the right solution to this is, but it's not this. It's just a goddamn mess already from the beta. And what's what's Meta's official response to this sexual assault on their platform? Well, Vivek Sharma, Meta's VP of Horizon, not to be confused with Vishal Shah, VP of Metaverse, different position, different person. Those are both positions that exist, VP of Horizon and VP of Metaverse. Do not confuse them. Anyway, Vivek Sharma calls the incident, quote, absolutely unfortunate, and says that the victim should have used the safe zone feature to block her attacker. He also says, this is good feedback for us because I want to make the safe zone trivially easy and findable. That's his answer to when he's asked by a reporter about this, which is just like a textbook non-apology, non-commitment from Meta.
Totally.
It's unfortunate that this happened, but it's really no one's fault. Also, it's kind of the victim's fault for not using the tool correctly. And don't worry, we're going to make this better if you just let us build more software to make it better. Safe Zone is a feature where you like raise your wrist, and I think they got rid of this after beta. It's you raise your wrist in the game, and it like transports you to an alternate dimension where nobody's around you. The safety features work differently from this now. I think they changed this. It's not better. The reporting still, they can't really report in. Nobody does anything if you report anybody. So it's still not good. Anyway, this Vivek Sharma statement, I feel, really demonstrates how much of a corner Meta has painted themselves into with their moderation policies. Like, they want lots and lots of people to socially interact on their platform. And they can't be getting involved in disputes between players because there are way, way too many interactions taking place to take even a fraction of them seriously. Right? They're like the wizards in Lambda Mu. They're up to the technological. The Facebook people are up on the technological plane of existence, and they can't afford to just come down to the metaverse plane of existence whenever there's a problem. They'd be doing that all the time. But they also can't give the players tools to solve their own disputes because then Meta's not in control, right? They'd be recognizing that their users have rights vis-a-vis their interactions on the platform, which they can't recognize because that gets them in another whole kind of trouble. And so Meta's stuck trying to solve all these social problems as they crop up by building piecemeal technical solutions that don't really address the underlying problems. It's just like Facebook all over again.
That's what I was going to say. It's like the same issues.
Yep. Boz said in an internal memo that moderation at any significant scale, I'll have the quote later, I'm going to butcher it, but basically he said moderation is impossible at the scale Facebook wants to operate at, which may be true, but then my solution to that would be simply don't exist then. Stop existing.
Right, then don't operate at that scale.
Right. So about a month after this sexual assault incident in December of 2021, Meta says, all right, well, it looks like things are going really well in Horizon Worlds. I think we're ready for the prime time. Let's take it out of beta. Let's let anybody on the internet come join all the fun stuff that's happening here on Horizon Worlds. So that's what they do. The next morning, I'm imagining this is how this went. It's probably how it went, but it's not documented. Mark Zuckerberg wakes up at his $270 million underground bunker house in Hawaii, and he comes downstairs to the kitchen where his personal trainer is waiting to hand him his daily protein smoothie. And he takes a sip and he starts to read the reviews. So he opens his virtual augmented reality newspaper. Kotaku's review calls Horizon Worlds, quote, a hollow corporate shell that has more in common with an office than it does with a playground or any other type of social space a human being would willingly want to hang out in.
And Mark saw that and he was like, yes, they get it. That's exactly what we were going for.
It's a triumph. Priscilla, come read this. All right, that's what Kotaku thinks. Let's check the other reviews. He opens up another one from thegamer.com, and it says, Facebook's Horizon Worlds is a broken metaverse filled with unimaginative games. Again, like, perfect, no notes. This is what it needs to be. And everyone thinks it's terrible. Well, not everyone. Because the metaverse, like the critics all think it's terrible, but the metaverse can truly obsess certain people, just like Lambda Moo. And journalist Kashmir Hill met a lot of people who are obsessed with the metaverse while writing her piece, This is Life in the Metaverse, which was published in the New York Times in October of 2022. It's a great article. Listeners, go check it out. It's an awesome read. She says her goal is to, quote, visit at every hour of the day and night, all 24 of them at least once. Right? So she wants to see what the metaverse is like at all different times of the day to get a sense for what it's like as a social space, which is a cool idea.
And so when we're talking about the metaverse, there's the plaza, right, which is like the lobby, and then there are different places you can branch off into from there, but you physically have to go to them in the metaverse, right?
No, you teleport to them.
Okay, gotcha. So it's kind of like to the earlier analogy of Disney World, it's just like a giant virtual Disney World where you can go to different parts of the park, quote unquote.
That's the idea, yeah.
Okay.
You can form a party in the plaza and then teleport with your party to whatever world you want to visit. And there's a list of worlds you can visit.
Gotcha. And they're all official, or are at this point, do you know?
No.
Okay, so it's like user modded worlds or user
Yes.
built. Gotcha. Okay.
Most of them are user built worlds.
Gotcha.
Some of them are official, but they have these tools in game that they try to show everybody how to use, where you can build your own worlds of whatever sort that you want.
Got it.
This reporter goes around to different parts of the metaverse and she meets some fascinating people. For example, she meets a woman in the metaverse with the name Lil Nihilist, who tells her, if I never picked up a VR headset when I did, I might be dead now. A lot of people are about this level of intensity in the game that you meet. She says she got into Horizon Worlds at the beginning of the pandemic. You know, she just moved to a city where she doesn't know anyone, and now she's stuck inside. And one day she impulsively goes out and buys a Quest 2 headset. Her favorite time to play Horizon Worlds is between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. She says she plays every night from her bed. She lies under her weighted blanket with her Quest plugged into the wall so it doesn't run out of battery, and she plays until she's too tired to keep playing. Other players admit to being in the metaverse for many hours at a time, 12 hours plus, which reminds me of the guy Robert from Shelley Turkle's article on multi-user dungeons that we talked about in the first part. Like, what's driving you to do this for 12 hours a day? Like, what are you processing?
Mm-hmm.
Unless there's something even worse going on in your life, this can't be good for you.
Right.
To do this.
Hearing about Robert, that struck me as an exception of somebody who's able to be like, I had my time, I used this to process this thing in my life, but I'm good to move on. I feel like most people don't get out of that hole, though.
Right. And, Meta's certainly not incentivized to help anybody get out of that hole.
Yeah, just the opposite.
Right. Those are their most valuable customers. And once they have ads, those people will be consuming, 80% of the ads. So you got to keep them on.
Right.
It's a recipe for fun stuff. In all the sci-fi movies where VR is a thing, there's like they go to some apartment and it's just like a hoarding, like there's garbage all over the place and somebody's just in the corner with their goggles on with like laying on piss-soaked a couch and
emaciated.
I think we're going to start to see that happen in the world when these games become more widespread, which is great. So that's one group of people who can become obsessed with the metaverse. Another such group is children. So everywhere you go on the metaverse, there's kids running around, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, interrupting your conversations, getting in your face, swearing at you, probably saying 6, 7. It's like hellish. Every YouTube video you watch of somebody in the metaverse is like full of kids yelling, running around and yelling. And technically nobody under 18 is supposed to be on Horizon Worlds, but the moderators only rarely boot people. To the extent there are moderators, they only very rarely boot people for being underage. Like, you can get booted. It's reported that you can get booted if you're under 13 and you like say your age out loud to a guide, then they will sometimes kick you off. Right. Yeah. But if they hear a voice that's obviously a 10-year-old, they're not going to do anything. Because like, why would Meta want to kick the children off, right? These kids are going to be consumers with credit cards in 6 to 8 years, and their whole $60 billion bet is on VR becoming the next computing platform for the next generation. So, do the math.
Yeah.
A third group of Horizon Worlds, shall we say, power users, is sexual predators. And we'll talk more about these guys in part 3, but suffice it to say, Anderson, they're bad news.
It's like Game of Thrones factions. It's like children, then there's the pedophile kingdom. This is amazing.
Yeah, George R.R. Martin wrote the script for Horizon Worlds, and except the difference is you can't die.
Yeah, or run. Well, I guess you can teleport away, but
there's no working weapon, so everything has to be done with your hands. Yeah, it's great that we've got sexual predators and unsupervised children hanging out together in an unsupervised digital space. This is going to end great. There are people running businesses in the metaverse. There are, like the Soapstone Comedy Club. Have you heard of the Soapstone before?
I have not heard of the Soapstone Comedy Club, although I am aware that there is an open mic community in VR, and so maybe that's where it's happening.
Mm-hmm. They do have open mics. I've seen a couple of them on YouTube. Hoo boy. They one thing about the Soapstone is they have like reminders up on all the walls that are like, this is clean comedy. Clean comedy is all about the F words. It says on the back of the performer can see a big billboard in the back of the room that says clean comedy is all about the F words. The 3 F words. You're a comedian, Anderson, so you must know the 3 F words that clean comedy is all about.
I do, but if you could just say them.
I'm gonna start. It's funny.
Funny.
You knew that one. Yep. Mm-hmm. It's for adults.
For adults.
Yep. And it's free from vulgar profanity.
From vulgar profanity, yeah.
Yeah, that's obviously clean comedy. The 3 Fs. It's run by a guy named Aaron Sorrells, who calls himself the Unemployed Alcoholic, and he has a reasonably popular YouTube channel with this stuff. At the height of the pandemic, the Soapstone estimated they were getting 13,000 visitors a week, which is pretty good for a comedy club, I think.
In like a niche, like a place as niche as the metaverse, yeah.
Right. But it's a 24-hour club, right? So that includes, the New York Times reporter says she met somebody there who was telling jokes at like 6:01 a.m.
Rise and grind, baby.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What's your wake up with me? What time do you get up and start writing jokes? The 13,000 number is a little weird, though, because Horizon Worlds doesn't work like a real place. So there can never be more than a couple dozen people in any given instance of a world. And the Soapstone is a single instance world, right? There's only one of it. You can't show up and have there be others, like different people in there. Then there's only one instance of it, right? So the total occupancy can't be bigger than 20 because of technical limitations. And so that includes the performers, right? So if it's, say, like a comedy night with 5 performers and a host, the audience can't be more than 14 people, tops.
Oof.
How does that hit you? Does that sound like a fun comedy show to perform?
That's a low number. You could make that work, but I don't know about like 14 people virtually. No.
Yeah, most of the seats are empty. They built it way bigger than it's supposed to, than it needs to be to hold 14 people. It's very awkward. If you want to feel a little better about some of your worst shows, I recommend watching some of these YouTube videos. They're very.
I have seen some of them. They're bad. First of all, what I've seen is mostly people not playing by the 3 F's of the 3 F words of comedy. It's usually somebody gets on stage, says something horrible, immediately banned, and then the next person like loads in. The same.
Can I say racial slurs up here?
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. All right. Speaking of stand-up comedy in the metaverse, there's this. Are you familiar with Just for Laughs Surrounded?
Well, I know Just for Laughs is like the big comedy festival where a lot of new faces get discovered.
Yes.
But I don't know what's Surrounded.
They did an event in the metaverse called Surrounded. It was a limited series of stand-up shows where the performer is in the middle of a circle of audience, and they're like, it's like comedy, stand-up comedy in the round, and they got some big names for it. You know, Mae Martin, Nikki Glazer, Joel Kim Booster. It's another one of these things where like you're in a static position among the audience, and sometimes the comic like acknowledges you, the camera, as because it's weird to be performing for like a 3D camera among a bunch of people. So like, I don't know, it seems like a very awkward way to watch a stand-up show to me, almost even more awkward than watching a Sabrina Carpenter concert that way.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just totally different than consuming a live show. You don't realize how much of like being a part of that energy like matters to enjoying it.
Right. If you were a hologram, it would be different, where like you were participating in the crowd.
Right. But it's like more like scrolling on your phone or so, like the way you react to stuff like that. Yeah. Weird
idea. Kind of cool, kind of a fun idea. They have not kept it up, so I guess it did not pan out. Anyway, so one of my favorite parts of this New York Times article is when the author meets an avatar who calls himself Elite. Elite. She meets him at this another comic. I guess comedy clubs are huge in the metaverse, because she meets him at another comedy club. Elite tells her, like, yeah, I'm a freelance world breaker. Oh, what's a world breaker? I find glitches in the metaverse and collect bounties from the architects. Right. He's basically saying like he's a bounty hunter for tears in the fabric of virtual reality.
And who is asking for these bounties?
Meta. Like they have like a bug bounty. The idea is they have like a bug bounty, and this guy's job is to like find glitches in the metaverse and report them to Meta so they can fix their reality. Which kicks ass. Like, I love this idea. I love that it's called a world breaker. I will absolutely watch an Apple TV series about world breakers. This sounds awesome. But then someone walks in to the room where they're having this conversation and is like, Elite, get the fuck back downstairs. There's some drunk asshole yelling racial slurs on the dance floor. Like, he's not actually, he's just a bouncer at this shitty club.
So he got caught lying about his resume in the metaverse.
Yes.
His meta resume. Well, you got to pay the meta bills first and foremost.
Yeah, that's right. I don't even know if he was getting paid for the bouncer job. I hope so. Or if he just likes it, you know.
Right.
Yeah, it was very disappointing to me. When I read this, I was like, whoa, that's cool. Let me Google World Breaker. There's no hits for where the only hit for World Breaker is this New York Times article.
Oh, so do you think it's a thing he made up?
Yes, I do.
Well,
it's a thing he made up to tell virtual women at virtual bars.
to sound virtually mysterious.
Yes. So great. You can have all the real world experiences that you can have in the real world, you can have in the metaverse, like being lied to by some loser dude in a bar about what cool job he has.
Yeah, we didn't need to build virtual reality for that.
Right. Yeah, I think Elite is one of the many people struggling with this enormous gulf between what the metaverse promises to be and what Horizon Worlds actually is. You know, the thing that makes VR a moral imperative to John Carmack and so many others is freedom. They talk about like how free you are in a virtual space to go anywhere, be anywhere, experience anything. But a metaverse owned by Mark Zuckerberg can never be free because you can't really have freedom without risk. They're two sides of the same coin. Meta has absolutely no appetite for programming risk into Horizon Worlds. Boz says he wants the game to have almost Disney World levels of safety. Well, at the same time, he has acknowledged in an internal memo that moderation at any meaningful scale is practically impossible. This leads to this sort of perverse situation where any risks that can be programmed out of the world are programmed out, and the only risks left in the world are the ones that the technologists can't do anything about, which leaves the metaverse still a very risky place, but not for any of the cool, fun reasons from science fiction. Like in the metaverse in Snow Crash, you can be a motorcycle riding samurai master, but you risk getting ambushed by evil ninjas and having your head chopped off. In Horizon Worlds, there are no working swords, there are no working guns. They programmed all the violence out of the system, but you risk getting called the N-word. Or, like in The Matrix, you can learn helicopter piloting by just closing your eyes for a few seconds. But if you die in The Matrix, you die in real life. In Horizon Worlds, there's no like exploding helicopters. There's no Hugo Weaving telekinesing your mouth shut. But you might get sexually molested, or you might smash your wrist on the coffee table. That's what freedom is in the metaverse.
Wow. So would you say that truly to have to reach the potential of what the metaverse promises, it would have to be something like open source?
I think it would have to be something like nobody's been able to do it yet. There was a thing called Decentraland that it may still be around, where you could like buy virtual parcels of land in their metaverse and run around. First of all, they never got VR working on it, and second of all, it wasn't actually as decentralized as they said it was going to be. Because you need some like this interoperability is the watchword of people who talk about the metaverse future. All these systems need to be able to interoperate with each other in order for it to be, a worthwhile environment where you can have an actual economy take shape. And, Meta has 78% of the market share on virtual reality helmets. They have no interest in interoperability and never will.
Right. So, yeah. I mean...
So how can it work, right?
Right. But it seems like not even just with Daddy Zuck at the helm, like any corporate, like as long as you have the risk of being sued, you're never going to take those chances.
Right. It all has to be kind of extra legal.
Yeah.
Which is why that's how it is in all these sci-fi universes where it's cool. Like it's a lawless Wild West space.
Yeah.
But
like
we can't have those spaces because the internet is owned by rich people.
Yeah. But it seems like you have like a low ceiling, high floor. So like you don't have the promise as much as those other models, but you also still have a lot of the bad shit, like sexual assault, the slur,
the children shouting 6-7.
Yeah. And worst of all, the children with
it kind of is the worst of all. Anyway, yeah, I think that's exactly right. People are getting squeezed between, the minimal amount of risk that that Meta was willing to have on the platform and the maximal amount of harm that like bad actors can do by getting in there in the unmoderated space and fucking shit up.
Yeah.
So if there's no real freedom in Horizon Worlds, what's going to attract all these tens of millions of users that Mark Zuckerberg desperately needs for Horizon Worlds to be profitable? Well, maybe we'll learn the answer in part 3. Maybe we won't. You'll have to tune in to find out. But for now, that's part 2 of our trip into the metaverse. Anderson, how are you feeling about virtual reality?
I am intrigued now. I mean, it's bad, but it's also fascinating.
It's like nothing else.
It does bring up a lot of like pretty universal, like philosophical questions.
Yes. And it does not answer them in any satisfactory way.
God, no.
It's like if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? Hold on, I got a question. Can I fuck the tree?
Yeah.
Anyway, Anderson, tell us again your socials so people can check out your comedy.
Yeah. Follow me on Instagram, Anderson_Gronvold. Just posted a reel, currently getting roasted on it. So go check that out. And
hell yeah, go roast my nephew.
Go roast me. Yeah, that's the place
Great.
to find me.
Okay, find me at Tech Blows on TikTok and Technology Blows on YouTube. And I can't wait to tell you about the conclusion of this thrilling metaverse story that is going to end in a really, really satisfying, world-bettering way. So see you next time on Technology Blows.